Today I would like to talk about the different kinds of people narcissists tend to triangulate their partners with and the purpose behind it. From my personal observation, every single one of them serves a different purpose. That is why I have grouped them together according to the purpose they are serving. But first of all, what is triangulation? In a nutshell, it's a form of manipulation where a narcissist pits two or more people against each other to create insecurity, competition, or division between them. It's a power play, and also one way for narcissists to create self-worth for themselves, while diminishing the self-worth of their pining competitors. In any case, the narcissist's main goal is to antagonize the parties involved. And quite often, the people their partner is being triangulated with are completely unaware that this is happening. Triangulation can also include objects such as cell phones, cars, video games, a hobby, or work, for instance. Many narcissists tend to be very materialistic or workaholics and put status symbols above their partners. Others are porn addicts and prefer watching this over spending a night with you. Keep in mind that partners are also objectified and put on an equally materialistic level, like everything or everyone else. Narcissists see things and people serving a functionality to provide them with narcissistic supply. There's nothing unique about them, and that's why they are totally replaceable at any given moment. But before I digress, let's go back to today's topic and dive into the different groups of people narcissists tend to triangulate their partners with and what they are doing it for. In the early stage of a relationship with a narcissist, their initial goal in an effort to gain power and control over you is to separate and isolate you from your support system. In order to achieve this, the narcissist will most likely try to triangulate you with the people who are the closest to you and the most stable part of your support system. These are usually your friends and family members. During the grooming stage, in which mutual trust is built, they will often feel out that one thing you don't like about your friends or family the most. And then they begin emphasizing and blowing the problem at hand out of proportion to slowly erode your trust in your support system and cause separation. Narcissists create this typical Bonnie and Clyde, us against the rest of the world mentality in you, causing you to pick fights with your friends and family as they begin to warn you about the red flags of the person you are dating, or notice how your own behavior has changed since you've been around the narcissist. Another thing they may try in this situation is to manipulate your family's will and inheritance. I've been a witness of this not too long ago, where I overheard a conversation between my previous landlady and her narcissistic boyfriend. Apparently, he managed to drive a wedge between her and her family and told her if she wanted nothing to do with her family anymore, she should receive a payout from her siblings for the house they would inherit from their parents one day. You can only imagine what the narcissist would do with that money. They first destroy your relationships, then take all of your resources and money, and then leave you high and dry with nothing. The next close people narcissists tend to triangulate you with are your neighbors. First of all, covert narcissists, especially those who have nothing really going in their lives, have a tendency to want to move in with their victims very quickly. They not only want to take over your personal space, but also your surroundings. And they achieve this by keeping your conflicts behind closed doors and always put a nice face on as soon as they leave through the front door. It's amazing how quickly they can switch from being mean to charming, acting like the perfect partner for everyone else to see. And that's what it's all about. Impression management to keep their reputation intact. They are quick to bond and always have some lighthearted conversation with the neighbors when they are in the front or backyard. They enjoy this sort of attention and offer help or lend their tools or gardening equipment to the neighbors. Nobody would ever expect this charming and helpful person to be narcissistic and abusive. Meanwhile, your physical and mental health are declining, and that's how worn out you carry yourself outside. You look like a crazy mess to your neighbors, and they barely talk to you anymore. The only information they receive is whatever the narcissist is telling them. It's when reactive abuse becomes one of the narcissist's favorite weapons, minutes before you two leave the house together. But your neighbors see nothing wrong with the narcissist, except that they seem to be a loving and caring partner during your quote-unquote difficult times. Another person narcissists love triangulating you with is, of course, their ex-partners. And it's interesting how they do this. Because the way they usually triangulate you with their exes at first is by calling them crazy to test your empathy and see if you step in to save them, only to later compare all your flaws with the same flaws their exes used to have. And as you bend over backwards to meet the narcissist's needs and expectations, something strange often happens. They may go out and begin re-idolizing their former crazy exes. A narcissist creates a sort of idolized version of the perfect partner in their head, consisting of all the positive traits their exes used to have, also known as a phantom ex. You end up constantly working harder in an effort to win this competition with this made-up ideal person, which is one of the many ways you will lose a part of your identity, because it's a constant struggle to be seen, or a dare if you do, dare if you don't kind of scenario. That's why narcissists will be out hunting for the perfect partner forever. It's obvious who's the common denominator in these situations if none of their exes ever lives up to the narcissist's expectations, though. Next, they may triangulate you with your in-laws, like the narcissist's parents or their siblings, who will always end up disagreeing with you. In a case like this, the majority of their family members are most likely narcissists themselves. It's as if their family has their own strict set of rules you need to comply with and adjust your behavior to. Narcissists often have a very disturbed relationship to their mothers, so pay attention to that. It's somewhat similar to comparing you to their exes. Nothing you will ever do as the outsider of the original family is ever good enough. You are not just there to please your narcissistic partner, but also their entire entourage. If you've seen The Godfather before, then you know what kind of a dynamic I'm talking about. You cannot say anything against La Familia, so to speak, unless the narcissist has come from such broken home, they may have walked away from it. And speaking of family, narcissists also don't shy away from triangulating their own children with you. They do this to maintain the power and control in the household. Some of them even pit the children themselves against each other by favoring one over the other. They separate them into the black sheep and the golden child. Narcissists usually tend to see the world in black and white, and that's how they group and divide people as well. It's really malicious when one person gets idolized, while the other is being devalued for absolutely no reason at all. But when it comes to you, and whether you are divorced or not, they usually use their children to gain intel on the other parent, or as a sounding board to complain about you and have the children validate them. That way, victims are being isolated and invalidated in their own family home, and your parental authority starts to shrink. Not rarely do narcissists end up creating such tight bond with one of their children in which emotional incest is happening. That's when boundaries become blurred and a parent gets emotionally dependent on their child, instead of the other way around. The child is basically parentified and becomes a parent's emotional caregiver. And the last group of people narcissists tend to triangulate you with are their coworkers, friends, or online friends. Now I combine the three together because the goal when they do this ends up being the same, which is to instill jealousy and insecurity in you as you begin comparing yourself to these people. The narcissist will most likely act like their connections are harmless, but why are they bringing up their names almost obsessively, time and time again if they are? They will tell you about another redundant conversation they had with their attractive coworker and emphasize this each time by saying, "I just wanted to share this with you," as if this was making them more trustworthy. Or they may triangulate you with random strangers they flirt with when you are outside with a narcissist, such as a waitress or a cashier at the supermarket. Or they will connect with and like or comment on random people's pictures, often in a way you would notice. So yeah, these were the 6 groups of people narcissists tend to triangulate you with and the purpose behind each of them. First of all, your friends and family to isolate and gain power and control in the first place. Secondly, your nearest neighbors for impression management while they make you look unhinged. Third, they repeatedly mention their ex-partners to mold you into their perfect partner. Then the narcissist will get their in-laws involved to play by their rules. Next are the children to isolate you in your own family home and deprive you of your authority as a parent. And lastly, they like to triangulate coworkers, friends, or random strangers with you to make you feel jealous and insecure. Please let us know in the comments section if you experience triangulation in your own relationship. My intention with this channel is to build a strong community of survivors who can confirm and validate each other's experiences, so you won't feel so alone on this journey. Thank you very much for listening. Stay safe and have a great day.